Do you ever feel like you could be just selling at a higher level than you currently are? Well, the reality is that there is a small group of top performing salespeople and business owners that are selling at the absolute highest levels. And those people have a certain skill set that allows them to consistently sell at that high level. So in this video, I'm going to show you 6 critical sales skills of all top performers. Check it out. Number 1, know your value. This is so key in ultimately selling like a top performing salesperson. It's one of the most critical sales skills that you can have, which is just recognizing in your own mind the value that you are bringing to the lives of the people that you ultimately sell to. Because if you feel like your offering doesn't bring real value into the lives of your prospects, then you are never going to be able to sell at the highest level. You must recognize the real life value that you bring to your prospects and customers. And so that starts with understanding how you can help a prospect get from point A to point B. And that transition from point A to point B should be pretty transformational, right? So understanding the value of going from where they are to where they want to go is so important. Number 2, be curious. This is one of the, again, most important sales skills that any top performer is going to have, is that they're simply curious, right? I always think of the old TV show Columbo, where there was this detective who in any situation just was really curious. He's just asking questions, he's finding out what's going on, and he's really trying to understand ultimately what happened in this situation. And that's exactly how any top performer has to behave, where we're just really curious. We're trying to solve a problem, just like a doctor who's trying to understand what's going on. The more curious we are, the more we're going to be focused on understanding what's really happening underneath the surface and being able to ultimately connect where they are to where they want to go, and having the confidence to know that we can help them get from point A to point B. Number 3, hold your ground. Another important sales skill for any top performer is recognizing that you don't have to just give in to any prospect or client demand. You can hold your ground, right? You have a set of rights. That means that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. And sometimes the prospect, in fact, quite often, the prospect is not right about what they think they need. So they may be demanding and say that they need this or that, or they want you to do this or that. And most salespeople are immediately willing to be that supplicant who's like, okay, of course, I'll do whatever you want. But top performers hold their ground, right? They don't just give in to what a prospect is asking at any given time. Instead, they are holding firm and helping the prospect get to where they need to go. So it's more like a relationship with a coach who is helping their student get to where it needs to be, as opposed to someone who is just working for someone else in this kind of subordinate relationship, just doing whatever the prospect asks. Hold your ground. Number 4, have a system. So one of the biggest distinctions between top performers and everyone else is that top performers have a selling system, right? They have an approach. This is a really critical sales skill where we are not just using the skills that we have, but we're really thinking systematically about how we're taking our prospects through the sales process. The more we have a system and a thoughtful approach to selling, the more likely we are to consistently close deals. Because most salespeople and small business owners are just really haphazard. They're just kind of doing whatever comes to them. They're coming in, they're pitching, they're giving tons of information. They're just doing things that are kind of throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But top performers have a systematic approach. And so the more we can really map out what our sales process looks like, the more we are going to be successful in any given selling situation over time. Number 5, solve problems. One of the biggest distinctions between top performers and everyone else is that top performers can consistently help their prospects see that they can solve these problems, right? everyone else is just coming in with all the features and the benefits of what they offer, and they're just trying to pitch, just like throwing a big bucket of spaghetti at the wall and seeing what's going to stick, right? Just like I said before. But instead, what top performers are doing is they're using an approach that is demonstrating that they can really solve these challenges. And they're thinking in terms of really solving problems. The more we are ultimately using that sales skill of, hey, I want to understand what's going on, and then we can determine if we can really solve this problem, the more likely you are to close a deal, and the more likely you are to close that deal without all of that price pushback. Number 6, N.S.O. Next Step Obsessed. One of the biggest distinctions between top performing salespeople and everyone else is the ability to hold sales together with next steps. Now, what I see is a lot of bottom and average performing salespeople are constantly following up on their prospects. They're checking back in. They've got this tickler file of people that they never really close. It's never really going anywhere. And they're just constantly kind of just checking back in randomly on a monthly or a quarterly basis. But what top performers are doing is they're leveraging the sales skill of holding every step together with a clear next step that's in the calendar. So nothing is slipping through the cracks, but instead, every selling situation is staying on track. And so they know exactly where every deal happens to be in their pipeline because it's always held together with that clear next step. So being N.S.O, next step obsessed, and being really strong about next steps is going to be one of the huge skills that you can use to really sell at that top performing level. So there are 6 critical sales skills of all top performers. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an amazing free training on the step-by-step formula to closing more deals. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more deals at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube and be sure to subscribe by clicking my face, which should be right about here, to get access to a new video just like this one each week.